Hi, this is Kara with Ebike Escape, and I wanted to share what I learned after riding the RadMission 1 for a month. I was able to help Ryan with the review video for the RadMission, and afterwards I asked Ryan if maybe I could just try it out for a month, as I am looking to buy an e-bike but also want to make sure that it's a good purchase for me and my lifestyle, and that I'm going to actually use it enough, because even though that this is an entry-level price point, it's still a commitment. So I wanted to make sure that I would get the use out of it that I thought I might. So today we're going to talk about the single speed versus the gears, because that was a big concern of mine if it was single speed, if I was going to regret that purchase. I'm also going to talk about the battery, because it is one of the lesser capacity batteries that the Rad Power Bikes company makes. I'm going to talk about the accessories, because this is an entry level bike. It doesn't come with some of the accessories that other bikes offer, so I wanted to just test out what I thought the bike needed too, because then that of course increases the price from what you're purchasing at. One last thing before we get started: if you are looking to make a Rad Power Bikes purchase, we would appreciate your support if you just use the link in our description below before you complete your purchase. Number one, would I get enough use out of an e-bike? Is it worth the purchase? And I can really say that yes, after a month of having this bike, I biked farther locations, and I didn't make as many excuses to use my car versus the bike, because when you have an e-bike, it's just a no-brainer. Of course, it's windy, doesn't matter. You can use your e-bike. You're gonna not get so fatigued. Of course, if it's a longer distance, sometimes that's an excuse not to use your bike for transportation. With an e-bike, you know that if on the way back you're a little tired, you could just throttle or use a high pedal assist to get home. So that's no longer an excuse when you have an e-bike. Plus, it's just a fun purchase to have. People definitely talked to me a lot more when I was parking my bike. They wanted to know what kind of bike I had, because they saw that it had a battery, and that's always kind of a fun thing to talk about and share about your experience having an e-bike. So I definitely got enough use out of it. I biked to places that I for sure would never have biked to, because either time limit constraints or because I thought I was going to be a little more tired or windy or weather conditions. You know, there's a lot of excuses to get in your car versus ride a bike, even though you love biking. And that really helped. Having an e-bike really helped with that. I'm a pretty fit, active person, so I do gravitate toward active, transportation styles, but still, everyone has excuses on days that they might feel a little more tired. So e-bikes helped. Second thing, I really had no idea what I wanted for an e-bike was having gears versus a single speed. The RadMission behind me is a single speed, so it doesn't have gears. Actually, it's kind of nice. It's just less things to worry about on your handlebars, things that can go wrong, right? It's easier. Plus, the single speed for myself, I live in an area that's pretty flat. There's really one main hill that I need to commute up and down regularly. So that hill was a non-issue, because if I was feeling a little tired, you can still use the throttle or a high pedal assist. And for me, non-issue. Single speed also sometimes can take the cost down on a bike. So for me, I would rather do single speed just because I don't need the gears. If you live in a really hilly area, you might want to consider gears. That would be something that probably is more of an important decision than where I live. Although I would recommend that you check out our full RadMission 1 review. It's going to be linked in the top corner, because that can be a really big game changer to your experience with an e-bike. And the video will show what hills it's capable of and how well it does there. So check that video out. Third thing, I love that it's entry-level bike, but it's a Rad Power bike. So it's a very solid bike. It had no issues at all while I was riding it. It feels like a really high quality bike, even though it's technically an entry level for this brand of bike. Because it's an entry level, it doesn't come with all of the accessories that some of their higher end models do. So of course we added things like the fenders and the kickstand, the back rack, and those are all really important to me because I do travel with a lot of things, and sometimes when it's too hot, you don't want to always be carrying a backpack, right? So get the rack on the back, and the fenders, of course, helps when it's unexpected rain or mud. What I would for sure add though, and I didn't have this during my month with the RadMission, is a seat post, a suspension seat post. So it goes right here. You can see the link below for a picture description and what seat post we recommend. But I've tried a few of Ryan's other e-bikes that have the seat post, the suspension seat post, and it makes the ride so much smoother. Because this is an entry-level bike, it doesn't have the suspension, which I'm pretty used to. My other bike doesn't have suspension. The seat post is a $100, $200 upgrade depending on which brand you get, and it makes a world of difference. So check out the suspension seat post that we recommend in our e-bike accessory lists. It's really going to add a lot of fun to your ride and just make it much smoother. Another thing I opted to purchase is a cell phone holder for my handlebars. I took it back with me, so it's not on the bike right now, but it just is super easy. It clamps on your cell phone, and for me, because I was doing a lot more biking with the e-bike, I was going to places that I didn't fully know the routes I wanted to take by bike. So it was nice to have my Google Maps right on my handlebar, and that was just super convenient, and it was like $10. So no brainer. Get that if you use Google Maps or any kind of maps, or you just want your phone. Or like my friend Allie will use it for music. She just has some music playing. So pretty convenient, small upgrade. The last accessory, I'm going to admit, I resisted. It was the handlebar mirror. And you can see that I actually took out the plug here. And then I kind of stole the mirror from Ryan. Hopefully he doesn't want that back because it's so nice. So it comes out right here. There's different styles. We have one brand that we recommend completely, and I'll link it below. But it is a game changer. I thought it was, well, my mom always had it, so I always thought, no, I'm not going to have that. Game changer. The mirror helps you so you can check your mirror, and then you can look over your shoulder just to confirm, because of course your mirror can tell you no, but it can't tell you yes. So you always still check over your shoulder to make sure there's no cars or anything coming at you before you change lanes. But the mirror is a very useful and practical, especially when you're doing group rides and can see other people then. So I'd recommend the handlebar mirror, especially if you're riding with people and just for safety confirmation. The fourth thing I want to talk about is the battery, and this is the 10.5 amp hour. And the other Rad Power bikes are in the 14 amp hour zone. So this is definitely a smaller battery. For me, didn't matter. It was exactly what I wanted. I never was out on a ride and thought, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be able to make it home. Although this bike is pretty light and you could really bike it home and pedal assist 0 if you have a certain fitness level. Not that you would really want to rely on that, but this was great because I do a lot of city biking. I do some country roads, but mostly city biking. So shorter trips, it was easy to be able to time when I needed to, plug in the battery. However, I was actually really impressed that I didn't need to plug the battery in all that often. It was a pretty solid battery for me. The fifth thing I want to talk about is the throttle. We have a twist grip throttle on this RadMission, and I found I really liked that version versus the thumb throttle that a lot of different e-bikes offer. I've test drove, I was really lucky to test drive a few different e-bike styles. Twist grip, your hands don't get fatigued at all. Because there were some times that I just wanted to throttle home, and there's no shame in that. That is great. It's actually a really fun ride to throttle. However, a lot of other styles have the thumb, and just for me, it wasn't as smooth of a ride when you were using the throttle only, and I just didn't prefer it. My thumb got tired, as funny as that sounds. Last thing I want to talk about, and I know it's weird to have a list of 6, but last thing I want to talk about is knowing your bike basics. And this was something that I resisted because I'm not a handy person. I'm not very mechanically inclined, but it's so important. And I actually recently took a class that helped me with the bike basics. That was extremely helpful. I wish I would have known that at the start of my RadMission experience, because I currently ride a bike, a non-e-bike, that has brake pads, and I was very comfortable with that, comfortable taking on and off the front tire, no big deal. So I wasn't really listening when Ryan was telling me about reattaching the bike wheel, because we fitted in my Honda CR-V. And then I was on my own to reassemble it, which again, no big deal because I had done this on the other bicycle. But these have disc brakes. And for you watching that know bikes really well, I mean, that is a no-brainer. Clearly disc brakes. You have to attach the wheel in a certain direction. Like you have to make sure the disc brakes are going in between where they need to go. Otherwise, the brakes don't work and you kind of mess up the calibration. So very important because my first ride out, I was cruising, loving it, and just didn't realize that my front brakes did not work and I had messed up the calibration. So really, really goofy. I called Ryan and said, I kind of feel very silly about this, but that's important to know your bike basics. I mean, it's okay if you don't feel comfortable changing a tire, but the more you know, the more comfortable you're going to feel. So, I mean, practice those skills, know the different parts of your e-bike, then you'll feel more comfortable too. So those are my thoughts after a month with the RadMission. Hoping that was helpful if you are considering an e-bike purchase or if you're considering a RadMission specifically. Check out the links in the description for more information about our favorite e-bike brands and accessory recommendations. We'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching.